Yeah, hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So last in the last session we created the load balancer and the target group. So in this session I will tell you how to create the elastic container service. So let's go to the AWS console and open elastic container service. And here we have to, you can see there is no any here. Let me go to the clusters. Yeah, there is no any existing cluster. Let me create one of the cluster here. So we have to go with the first option because we have to create the fargate one, and you can give any name like we are performing for the blue green deployment. So let me create the blue green as a ECS cluster. You can if you want to define any VPC, if you want to dedicate a VPC, you can create that, but that is not required for the demo. So I just created the cluster here. The cluster has been created. So let me open it, and you can see the cluster has been created, but there is no any task. So let me create the new task definition. As it is the fargate one, so we have to select the first option, then click on next. Yeah, we can give the name like a blue green hyphen task. Yeah, the task role usually if you're doing for the first time it would be none, so you don't need to select that. Otherwise you can see select the assist task execution role. And then networking mode, only the you will get only the AWS VPC option would be available there, the second option. As you can take the system family as the Linux. And the task execution role, if you are performing for the first time, then it would be a none. Otherwise you can select the assist task execution role. And we are taking the memory as 0. 0.5 and the CPU as 0.25, which is very less as for the demo. And let's create the container as a blue green, and we have to take the image name from the ECR. So let me open the ECR so I can copy the repo URI. Yeah, so it is the repo URI. So I just copy that and let me paste here. That is the image name. And the memory, we can take the minimum one, that is 128 MB. And we have to expose the 8080 port number because my application is running on the 8080 port. And let me take also CPU units should be 128. And other parameters generally for the demo is not required, but if you want as per requirement you can take that. Let me click on add, and you can see only one container is running here, but if you want to add multiple container on the task also, you can add that. So let me click on create to create the task. So it has been created. And after that we have to go to the cluster, we have to create the service. So let me go to the cluster. Let me click on that. Let me create the service here. So as we are using for the demo also, I can take the same name. Yeah, let's me select the launch type would be fargate, and the service name let me take as a blue green hyphen svc. And the replica 2 is sufficient. So let me take as number of tasks could be 2. And if you want to increase it 3 or 4 or 5 as per requirement, you can test that. For the demo perspective, I'm taking only 2 replica here. We are performing the blue green deployment, so I have to select the second one. And here you can see deployment configuration type would be I'm taking the first one like ECS all once, but if you want to explore like the other parameter, you can take that. But what I'm doing, I have to deployment the container all at a time, for the all the containers. So I'm taking the first one. That whatever the role I have created, I am taking using that like the ECS demo. So that's why I created for this role initially. Let me click on next. Then we have take the VPC, the default one. And we have to select all the subnets. I added all the subnet here, and we have to go to the security group, and we have to add the security group here. I'm taking the default one because all the traffic has opened with this security group. So I added I take this group. And the auto public IP would be enabled because whatever the content would be executed, that will take the public IP. And I'm using the application load balancer here, so I added this. And let me take the first group like 80 HTTP. and the second would be 8080 HTTP. And here target group, like the first one would be ALB group 1, and the second would be ALB group 2. Let me click on next. Let me click on next. Let me click on next. So the service has been created, so I take ALB group 2, group 1, like whatever the content would be executed now, that will be created under ALB group 1. And while doing the deployment, so what will happen, it will create two identical same container, but that would be goes to application load balancer group 2. So that's why I've created two group. So you can see two container has been created, and it is provisioning now, it is under pending. And once created those container, we can validate using the IP, the public IP. So it will take some time, so in the meantime let me validate it. I just copy the public IP of the container. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to open the UI, and you can see I enter the public IP and the port number. My application is opening here. And there is another task also. If you want to validate also, you can validate that. There is the second task. So you can copy the public IP, and you can browse it by the IP and the port number. Also, if you see the port, the second application is also opening. And let me go to the EC2, and you can see the target group. We have taken the two target group. I already told you, like the whatever the container is running now, that would be running under first group, ALB group 1. So let me refresh it, then you can see all, like whatever the containers are running. Yeah, in the group 2 also there is no like the container, because yeah, I have missed. So I have to refresh it, so I can see all the container are running here. Let me refresh it. Yeah, so whatever the container is created in under ECS, you can see both container are showing under target group 1. And now instead of opening the individual container, we can open the UI through the load balancer. So let me go to the load balancer. It is blank because whenever we do the deployment, the new container will be launched under a target group 2. So let me copy the DNS name and let me open it. You can see you can directly open it through the load balancer. Okay, so you can see it is opening the first container. If we refresh it, the traffic goes to the second container. Okay, so that's why you are using the load balancer. So it would be balance the load. First it will be goes to the first container. If you refresh it, the traffic is goes to the second container. So thank you so much. So we will meet in the next session.